Good evening and welcome. You're watching the Newstrack. I'm Rahul. Kanwal. Who's responsible at this stage for holding back a discussion on the all-important issue of Manipur in Parliament? That's my top focus on the Newstrack.
8 days, no Manipur debate yet. Parliament round, but paralyzed.
विपक्ष रोज पार्लियामेंट को चलने नहीं दे रहे.
BJP points angry finger at stalling opposition.
We want a discussion and the Prime Minister has to open his mouth. Manipur.
Opposition fires back, says Prime Minister evading.
सभा की कार्यवाही मंगलवार 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है.
Manipur's fate hostage to politics? That is a big focus on Newstrack.
It's been 8 days and there has been no debate on Manipur in Parliament yet. The opposition MPs have travelled to ground zero, given notices for discussion and even moved a no-confidence motion against the Modi government. The centre, for its part, maintains that it is ready for debate and that it is the opposition that continues to scuttle a discussion on this sensitive issue. Our National Bureau with our top story tonight.
Manipur engulfing the monsoon session. The opposition India alliance demanding the Prime Minister make a statement in the House on the 3-month crisis in the northeastern state.
Nishikant Dubey, question number 142.
They are trying to misuse. They are trying to misuse the liberty given to all the honourable members. When the government is ready to discuss Manipur, when the government has already acceded to the sense of the House that there should be a discussion on Manipur, they have already spoiled, sir, 9 days, 9 important days of the House.
Honourable members, when on this issue, the government is agreeable for a discussion at 2 p.m.
The opposition unsatisfied with this short duration discussion alone.
अगर एक बार कोई मणिपुर पहुंच जाएंगे ना सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी के नेतागण तो यहाँ आके इस तरीके की हेजुअल बयानबाजी करने में उनको दिल नहीं लगेगा. अगर उनके अंदर मानवता रहे तो मणिपुर की हालत संगीन है.
लगता है कि सरकार अगर अभी भी प्रोएक्टिव ना हो, प्रधानमंत्री जी सदन में आकर के संदेश ना दें, हो क्या आया? मणिपुर के लोग अपनी सामूहिक पीड़ा को जल्दी भूलेंगे नहीं.
Last week, the opposition brought in a no-trust motion as part of its demand to seek the Prime Minister's statement on Manipur on the floor of the House.
सदन में हम चर्चा करने के लिए जब तैयार है, जब सदन चल रहा है, तो बाहर जाके ऐसे स्टेटमेंट तो देख क्या है ना, जो बोलना है सदन में बोलने दो, जो उसको उस विषय पर जो उत्तर देना है, रिप्लाई देना है, चर्चा करना है, वो सब के लिए सरकार तैयार है. ये बार बार हम इन लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, अपील कर रहे हैं.
विपक्ष की जिम्मेदारी होती है कि मसला शांतिपूर्ण समाधान की ओर बढ़े और ऐसे मसले पे भी वो राजनीति कर रहे हैं. ऐसे मसले पे तो राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए. राजनीति के बहुत अवसर हैं जी, और आप चर्चा के लिए हम तैयार हैं.
The House is adjourned to meet at 3:30 p.m. today.
Repeating uproar ignored the chair's appeals for silence. Congress accused the ruling BJP of ducking the demand for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement in Parliament on Manipur.
The leader of the House says he is ready to discuss and deliberate right now.
The opposition chants for the Prime Minister's presence in the Rajya Sabha on Monday, insistent on his statement, followed by Parliament discussing Manipur in detail.
Why can't the Prime Minister come? We are all ready to discuss Manipur. Manipur is the issue. Our delegation went. We want to discuss Manipur. We want to discuss Manipur under the emergency rule, not one under toast and butter rule of 176. वो नहीं होता है 1.5 घंटा 2 घंटा का discussion. वो toast and butter rule है. We want a full meal discussion on Manipur.
The call for the Prime Minister's statement remains, while Manipur's plight awaits sustainable resolution. Bureau Report, India Today.
The centre maintains that the situation in Manipur is getting better. India Today's Ashutosh Mishra is on ground zero, reporting non-stop from the conflict zone. His latest dispatch is from Fayang village in West Imphal, where fear is still palpable.
An uneasy calm prevails in the strife-torn state of Manipur. Manipur, famously known as the jewel of India's northeast, continues to be tense. While the government claims that all efforts are being taken to restore peace and normalcy in the area, the on-ground situation remains volatile in the conflict zone.
During the daylight, since when the curfew is lifted, all you see some vehicular movements, the ration, the food stock being sent to these villages. But when the day goes dark, all you see absolute silence in these areas. The peace committees, the protection committees carry out a meet every day and every night. It is challenging for the people in this conflict zone of Manipur.
As the day ends, women in this village take charge at the barricades, which separates the national highways from border areas of their village.
हमारा गांव कुकियों से अपने आप को बचाने के लिए दिन रात यहाँ सोए खाए बिना हम लोग अपने गांव की रखवाली करें और हमारे जान में जब तक जान है हम अपनी गांव अपने राज्य के हम रक्षा करेंगे। हमारे दिल में एक डर है कि जो हमारे भाई बहन जो भी बाहर में है उनके साथ क्या होगा।
Young men residing in the Mete village say their brotherhood with the Kuki community has turned into enmity due to the ongoing conflict, and they fear for their lives.
अब यहाँ पे ऐसा हो गया, मतलब हम तो अपना गांव रक्षा कर रहे हैं, वो लोग अटैकिंग कर रहे हैं ज़्यादातर। मेनली जो है वो लोग जो है अटैकिंग मोड पे है, मतलब वो कब्जा करना चाहते हैं। फिर भी हम लोग क्या करें, हम लोग अपने विलेज को डिफेंस कर रहे हैं।
En route Phayang village, we found young boys with elderly men guarding stretches of the village border, all heavily armed. Armed Mete men say it's their duty to protect their land.
These are the Meitei people guarding their village territories. There's 41-year-old and he is 22-year-old. By this time, he was supposed to be in university or the colleges. But now all you see, gun in the hand, and now they are guarding their territory from their enemies. And enemies are who? With whom they have played, spent lives so far. All of a sudden, they have become arch rival and mortal enemies.
Like a conflict zone, many tactical steps too have been taken by Meiteis to ensure their safety.
Men have gone to the border areas of their village in the bunkers with the weapons. As far as these streets are concerned, despite the solar lights available, there you see all these lights are covered because where I'm standing moment is directly in the range of firing zone between these two communities. This side guarded by Meiteis, whereas the right opposite in 180 degree towards my right hand, you have the Kuki community's bunker from their defense.
The situation remains tense in the areas of conflict. The enmity has turned so bitter that the communities who grew up together are now pointing guns at each other.
For now, the peace is missing and lives are more than disrupted. The both sides have lost lives, their loved ones, their family members. But for now, while they are blazing guns against each other, the ensuring peace remains an uphill task in the conflict zone and war zone of Manipur. At this ground zero in Manipur with Sanjay Kumar, I am Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
There's a sense of deja vu in all of this. This could have well been last week. We could have had the same Newstrack discussion, who's stalling Parliament. 1 week later, I'm asking the same question. It's very clear, both the government and the opposition say they want to talk about Manipur in Parliament, but we're not getting on with this big debate. Who's to blame, why, and most importantly, what can happen from here? Joining me to debate and discuss this, we've got Dr. Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Squaring off against him will be Manikam Tagore, member of Parliament of the Congress. Riju Datta is a spokesperson of the Trinamool. With me for a historical perspective, a special guest, Avinash Paliwal, is the author of an upcoming book, India's Near East, A New History. He spent some time looking at this academically. I thought outside a political lens, it will be useful to look at an intellectual perspective on Manipur. Kaushik Deka is our executive editor at India Today magazine. He runs India Today Northeast, has just come back after writing a very comprehensive story on Manipur in the magazine. He heads India Today Northeast and will share with us his insights from that ground. So, Kaushik, welcome. I want to go across first to Manikam Tagore, because I heard the Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, he said, let's start at 2 p.m. Now, the government is saying again and again that they are ready for a debate, and yet for some reason, we aren't able to get that debate started. The government said, let's start at 2. Why did this debate not begin at 2 in the afternoon, Manikam Tagore?
Simple. We wanted Prime Minister Modi for the past 8 days. We are asking only one thing. India's parliament, we want India's Prime Minister to make a statement.
No, but you can't hold a gun to the government. You moved a no confidence motion. In that no confidence motion, the Prime Minister will speak. So you will hear the Prime Minister. India wants a debate on Manipur. Why can't you allow for that debate to take place, Manikam Tagore?
Kindly understand, it's a parliamentary Prime Minister is elected by the parliamentarians. He has a majority in the parliament. Therefore, he should come to parliament. Nobody is holding a gun against him. We are asking for not for his resignation, Rahul. We are asking for his statement. If a member of parliament, if MPs are asking for a statement on Manipur from the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister is so arrogant that for 8 days he will not come to the parliament and make a statement, but he will speak. He will have time to speak in Man Ki Baat. He will have time in the library to speak to his BJP MPs. Why he is afraid to speak to the parliament? The parliament is the place
let
where
Ajay
he
Alok respond to this.
He represents Varanasi, a constituency.
It's not illogical for the opposition to demand that the Prime Minister speak on the #1 burning issue of the country at this moment. The more the BJP says the Prime Minister is not going to speak on Manipur, the more it creates the perception, or the opposition seeks to create the perception, that the Prime Minister is running away from speaking on Manipur while he continues to do his Man Ki Baat. Why can't the BJP come out and say, yes, the Prime Minister will speak on Manipur, he has nothing to be afraid of, he has nothing to run away from?
First of all, Rahul, let me ask you one thing. When has BJP said that Prime Minister is not going to speak on the issue? Quote me one leader saying this, that Prime Minister is not going to speak on the issue. Quote me one BJP leader.
Let Manikam Tagore respond to that, because Ajay Alok is right. The Prime Minister hasn't said he won't speak. The BJP hasn't said he won't speak. Let this debate start. For all you know, the Prime Minister may speak. You're assuming that he isn't speaking. You're holding a gun saying Prime Minister should speak, Prime Minister should speak. They haven't said he won't speak. Manikam Tagore.
Let me complete.
I'm coming back to you, Ajay Alok. You made an important point. Let Manikam Tagore respond to that.
Let Mr. Ajay Alok speaks to Prime Minister, and let Modi ji comes tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We will all keep quiet and listen to him what he is saying. And 2 o'clock also in Rajya Sabha, if he would have come, every member of the opposition would have sat down to listen to him what my India's Prime Minister wants to say about the Manipur.
Ajay Alok, while you haven't said he won't speak, the opposition says the government hasn't said anything about him speaking either. If you intend for the Prime Minister to speak, why can't the government say, yes, he will be one of the speakers in the debate on Manipur? Ajay Alok.
We are not sitting here like an adolescent baby that we are going to listen to each other and heed their requests. It's not a request. It's something they are insisting on. It's like they are behaving like an adolescent baby. And by looking at their behavior in the parliament, it just reminds me of a movie, Runaway Bride. That's what opposition is behaving like. That you are saying that, yes, I'm ready for marriage. But when the time of marriage comes, you run away. That's what is happening with the opposition for the last 11 days. हम चर्चा चाहते हैं, कर लो चर्चा की बात जब आती है तो हम भाग जाते हैं. This way it doesn't work, that either it's my way or highway. Is that what a responsible opposition is for?
Also, Manikam Tagore,
after returning back
when in 1993 there was a discussion on Manipur in Parliament, it was your Minister of State for Home Affairs, Internal Security at that time, Rajesh Pilot, who spoke on behalf of the government. Now, you can't say at that time it is okay for the MOS in MHA to speak, but here only the Prime Minister will speak. It was the prerogative of the government at that time, as it is the prerogative of the government at this time, to determine and decide who speaks and who doesn't.
Whether in that time opposition parties demanded the Prime Minister to reply. Whether in that time Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji asked the Prime Minister Narasimha Rao to give a statement. If you would have given it, they would have given it. In 2001, when Kashmir was burning, Atal Bihari Vajpayee gave a statement and took an all-party litigation. He himself led it. That is called Prime Ministership. This is irresponsible. This Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is not sensitive towards Manipur. He is so egoist that he is not ready to come to Parliament and speak about Manipur. That's the truth of this situation.
Also, he hasn't been coming. Questions being asked Ajay Alok about the absence of the Prime Minister in Parliament. He hasn't been coming and not attending.
Prime Minister is never absent in the Parliament. Number one, he is there in his chamber. Once the Parliament starts functioning, then only he can come. He cannot come and witness all the chaos, because the moment the functioning starts, the Speaker starts saying something, the House is being listed, these people start carrying the slogan. They come in the well, disturb the functioning of the Parliament. The whole country is witnessing their attitude.
Riju Datta, respond to Ajay Alok, who says if Parliament was in session and the debate was happening, the Prime Minister will be there. You are not allowing for Parliament to function and then questioning the Prime Minister's absence.
Rahul, let me give you a fact. In 2021 Bengal elections, the Prime Minister spent 4 hours per day in Bengal. But in the entire 2020-21, the Honorable Prime Minister just spent 4 hours in the Parliament for the whole year, and this is a proven statistics that I am giving you. The Honorable Prime Minister has time to fly drones, to watch Jai Ho programs, to give fake guarantees from public stage and political meetings. He cannot come to the Parliament. Rajiv Gandhi came to the Parliament on the Bofors issue. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji came to the Parliament on the Kashmir issue. Jawaharlal Nehru came to the Parliament. Who the hell is this Prime Minister who does not even want to come to the Parliament to address the country? The country voted for him. And the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice today belted the BJP and ended the whataboutery debate once and for all. The Supreme Court has taken cognizance and said it is an unprecedented state of events in Manipur. Yet the Prime Minister does not choose to come to the Parliament. And we are still
Nobody is sitting there. You heard Ajay Alok. He's in his chamber in Parliament. It's not as if he's not in the country or not in Delhi or not in Parliament. He's there. He's waiting for order to come to the House.
Rahul, this is the problem. When 700, Kisan died at Singhu border, he was sitting in his bungalow. When the women wrestlers were sitting on the Delhi road and protesting against their MP who sexually assaulted these women, he was sitting in the party office.
Ajay Alok, respond to this assertion that when things go right, the Prime Minister seeks to take credit. When things go wrong, he doesn't come out and take responsibility.
He's a runaway Prime Minister.
First of all, the credit, the credit and the failure all goes to the Prime Minister, because he is responsible for the country. And right, since he has been voted by the country, that's why you are perturbed, and that is your problem. But my dear friend, we are not going to help that, because he is going to be elected again. And as far as the parliamentary proceeding goes, please don't teach me, Riju Datta. You don't know the ABCD of parliamentary proceeding. Today you came out with the resolution, West Bengal Assembly, about Manipur. Do you have any constitutional right to do that? You will teach us parliamentary proceedings? You don't know ABCD of parliamentary proceedings. You are ruling your state like a banana country, and you are talking about parliamentary proceedings.
Kaushik Dutta, you've just come back from Manipur. How are people in the state looking at this unseemly back and forth between the government and the opposition? What do they really want?
People in Manipur, if you are talking about people who do not have any affiliation to any political organization or social organization, what we call Aam Aadmi, they actually want peace, they want normalcy to be restored, they want their lives to go on, and they want this politics to end. From politicians from both sides, what they want is a healing touch. which is missing. Everybody is trying, they realize this fact that both sides, whether it's the government or the opposition, they are trying to make the maximum out of this whole situation. They are trying to gain politically. Government is trying to defend the situation. The opposition
the government
is trying
says
to...
things are getting better in Manipur now.
Yes.
There hasn't been a single killing since the 18th
Yes,
of July.
of course.
Are things actually getting better?
That's a fact. In fact, if you really analyze that before this viral video came out, there was no report of arson or murders for at least a week. But of course, the situation got tense after the video came out. That's another politics. But things are in control to some extent. There are some stray incidents like burning of some trucks, a bus, or some burning of some empty houses in More. Those things are happening, and there are several elements which are trying to create trouble in the state because that benefits both sides. So the government has to be very careful about handling those things so that one stray incident cannot flare up the entire state. But the people in general, they want peace and they want a healing touch right from the Prime Minister to all other politicians, including the opposition parties, not just some statements or
let Ajay Alok respond to this. You know, Manipur crying out for a healing touch. And who better than the Prime Minister to actually apply that balm of healing? Ajay Alok.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right that yes, Manipur requires a healing touch. That healing touch could have come when we have given a joint voice from the parliament that yes, Manipur, the whole India stands with you. As far as the government goes, the Prime Minister has appointed two special advisors to the Chief Minister. Then secondly, Home Minister is looking at things personally. He is monitoring everything on his own. And as far as like your panelist said, that things are getting in control, and Home Minister is in active touch with the leaders of both the communities for confidence building measures. And yes, definitely, Manipur is on radar of the Prime Minister. Don't forget that the whole Northeast, the whole Northeast, the policy is look east first and fast. And most of the states have been in control. In Manipur, this stray incidents has happened after 2013. Viren Singh came to power in 2017 until now, 6 years. Things were moving very peacefully.
No, but this is not a stray incident. 150 people dead, 60,000 people living in relief camps. That's not a stray incident. That's a massive, massive breakdown in civil administration.
That's a massive. No, that's not. I'm not saying a stray incident. I'm saying stray incident which happened on 3rd of May after the court observation.
Okay.
And then this continued in a large-scale violence which resulted in the life of 150 people. That is horrible. And that's terrific, in fact.
Okay.
It pained the whole country, the kind of video we saw.
I want to
now
go
the release of the video on the very same day, all these things can be taken care of.
Your new book is India's Near East. It's called A New History of the Northeastern States. In the context of your research on Manipur, and from all that you've learned, what do you think, Dr. Paliwal, needs to be done at this moment to try and bring some semblance of normalcy in Manipur, where the Kuki and the Maitai communities at this moment are literally daggers drawn?
Thank you for having me here, Rahul. Again, the first and foremost thing that needs is accountability. Accountability of, that's the healing touch, accountability. Who are the people who have committed these crimes, to bring them to book, to let law take its course, to have an honest conversation in the parliament and move on from this tutu meme that is happening. It's such a security sensitive state and its people are, under a lot of distress. And historically so. I mean, as an outsider, as a scholar, I would say both parties, the Congress and the BJP, have failed Manipur historically and in contemporary situations. One party was playing divide and rule for most part of independent India, and now there is a second party which is trying to adopt an, religious assimilationist strategy where, everything gets boiled down to electoral politics. Grievances of the majority community have been weaponized in the recent few months, and that's what led to the explosion. We need to have accountability for whoever did wrong. And without that, we can't talk of any healing touch. Without that, we cannot talk of building inter-community trust moving forward, which is absolutely essential. What we are seeing today, you talk about, things becoming normal. They're not normal. This is an imposed peace. There is a no man's land which has been secured by the armed forces of India, many of the divisions which were taken away from the China border, which is a sensitive and live border at this point in time, and they were taken away after 3rd of May. We have a de facto partition in South Manipur as we speak, which is a border state with a civil war raging in Myanmar and very strong Chinese presence over there. We really need to take this issue very, very seriously. And if you ask me what needs to be done, first start holding people who are responsible for this.
No, but who do you think is responsible? Because blame lies on both sides. There have been killings and all manner of atrocities committed by members of both communities.
No, of course there have been crimes committed by members of both communities, and I won't go into the politics of which community has borne the bigger brunt of it. You know that as well as I do, Rahul. I mean that the Zokyuki communities have faced much more violence in this whole saga post 3rd of May. There is reportage on that. I would say the state government has to be responsible. The state chief minister is responsible for this. You mentioned earlier there has been a collapse in state law and order. Who's responsible for that? That's Mr. N. Biren Singh, who's the chief minister. There is a reason why there has been such a powerful demand, both by civil society in India and in Manipur and elsewhere, for the resignation of the chief minister. There is precedent to that. There is, it's not as if we don't know what's happening.
You asked Biren Singh this question, Kaushik. I read your interview.
Yeah, I did.
He seems quite comfortably ensconced. He doesn't think that he's not done the job that he should have as chief minister?
Yeah, he doesn't think so, because I asked him why did he not resign, and then he made a show of a resignation. If you remember, on 30th June, he said that I am used to the criticism by the Kuki groups. They accuse me of being biased against them, but when some Meitei people actually criticized me, I was hurt. And his defense is that he was doing the right thing. He was doing a drive against illegal poppy cultivation, illegal encroachment of forest land, and illegal immigrants, and against illegal immigrants. So he was doing the right thing through constitutional measures. And he has some statistics to show off that more Meitei houses were actually families were evicted from forest areas than the Kuki areas. So all those things are there. So he believes that he did some constitutional he followed the constitutional provisions, but the Kukis had a design and an agenda. And I actually asked him this question: did you have this idea that if a rally is going to happen and there are possibilities of violence, didn't your intelligence have enough adequate information? So he said, we didn't have, we just believed that it will be a peaceful rally. Which didn't convince me, of course. So he believes that he was doing the right thing. Only the Kukis are to be blamed. Kuki
but
groups
it's
are to be
clearly
blamed.
one-sided. I've had a few conversations with the chief minister as well. Kaushik interviewed him recently. Ajay Alok. He's looking at things largely from the Meitei perspective. Everything that's being sent, shared, spoken of, looks at it from one community. Now that community is important. It also has 40 seats, more than the Kuki seats. But then there are things that go beyond politics. Respond to Avinash Paliwal, who says that unless the chief minister takes responsibility, unless accountability is pinned for the worst civil war-like situation India has seen, Manipur can never begin the process of healing. It can't be life as normal. What you're seeing is an enforced peace. On the ground, there's a India-Pakistan-like division.
Of course, right now it's an enforced peace. There is no doubt about it. That's what I said earlier, that when we are talking of confidence-building measures, the talks are being held with the people of both the communities. And secondly, Rahul, I do feel that in politics and in situations like this, you cannot have a knee-jerk reaction. That amidst of violence, you just take a chief minister resignation. That's not going to help. Was that going to end the violence? Was that going to end the conflict between the two communities that has been happening for the last 80 to 90 years? You have to get into the core of the problem, and then only you can have the solution. That's what the government is trying to do. As far as law and order and impartiality,
do you think, Kaushik, it's possible that the situation returns to normalcy while Biren Singh stays CM?
See, it's a catch-22 situation. If Biren Singh is removed, as far as I have understood by being there, now this will be taken by the Meiteis and affront. That already Kukis are demanding that Biren Singh should be removed. So the moment BJP touches him, central BJP, then there would be bigger revolt within the Meitei Valley, Imphal Valley. So it's actually a catch-22.
So let Avinash Paliwal respond, because you're saying that the chief minister must go because of these lapses. It could provoke a counter reaction from the Meitei community. The government is saying, let's try and restore peace and normalcy to the extent possible. removing the Chief Minister at this stage could be counterproductive for all the reasons that Kaushik just mentioned.
Rahul, do you see the logic, the circular logic of that? You have a Chief Minister who's, by your own admission, pushing a partisan Methi agenda, and now that the situation has already gotten out of hand, he won't resign because there's fear of more violence. I mean, this is what we have reduced politics to. If that is the case, then yeah, we have, nothing more than basic electoral interests, because this is, these are mobilized communities now, very, in a very sensitive situation and a very violent situation. Who's responsible for that? Do you think there could be peace in the Zokuki areas moving forward with this kind of conditions attached to, if you remove one person who broadly there is an understanding has made huge amount of mistakes? If you remove him from Chief Minister, there'll be even more violence. Then what are the security forces doing? Can't we impose basic constitutional measures with so much armed forces presence in Manipur already? Then, this is a deeper question about the capability of the state of India in a very security sensitive border.
It's a circular logic. And how can Ajay Alok, the Kuki community, accept Biren Singh and treat him to be a genuine Chief Minister when he so clearly has looked at this problem from the Maitai point of view? He doesn't have the trust of both communities.
See, the division of Manipur, let's not get into electoral fact of the things, because we had 10 Kuki MLAs also from in the BJP.
Who are very upset with you at this moment and very upset with, they're very upset with Biren Singh and they've demanded his resignation.
Of course. That's true, because there is a normal perception that Biren Singh is biased towards Maithis, which is not a truth, actually. He's trying to control. The first 2 days, the state was not able to control, and from the third day, the control started enacting when the forces were adequate. And you have to look into totality. You cannot pinpoint a subject and this is responsible, so remove it. I don't argue the fact. Biren Singh is not going to be the Chief Minister permanently. One day he has to be replaced. So that doesn't mean there will be a violence. So for that logic, I am not accepting it, that if we remove Biren Singh, there will be violence again. No. Right now, what is the requirement is not resignation of the Chief Minister, but to install confidence among both the communities that life could return to a normalcy. Politics can take a back seat. Maiti is having 40 seats and 30 seats. That doesn't make a difference to our skin. Right now, the priority of the central government and the state government is to create normalcy and peace in the state, where people can live peacefully. Because majority of the population, don't forget, if a majority of the population wants peace, it's only the political element and the element who are at loss. They are provoking violence, and we have to identify them and take them to task.
Riju Datta wants to come in from the Trinamool and respond to what you're saying. You're asking that peace be allowed to prevail. We can deal with the sacking of the Chief Minister later. Riju.
I will just state facts and not go into a mudslinging match. BJP MLA on record saying that it is N. Biren Singh who unleashed its militia on one community. So I don't know how he is still there as the Chief Minister. Second, if removing Biren Singh can cause violence, when there are so many troops on ground, what is stopping the BJP regime to impose Article 356 in Assam? In Manipur, why they are not doing that? Point number 3, your library is very
Should we impose Article 356 on Bengal also? Should we impose Article 356 on Bengal also, because Calcutta High Court has also interfered and told you 4 times about it?
The right to rule this country. These shameless people, after being belted by the...
No, you want Article 356 on Bengal also, because the Panchayat poll violence, more than 55.
But Ajay, no, one second. Ajay Alok, the Panchayat poll violence is not comparable to the civil war-like situation in the state of Manipur, where 2 communities are now physically separated. What happened in the Panchayat polls is something that India Today has reported on extensively. We had investigations from ground zero, including exposing the bomb-making factories. But sir, there is no way that you can compare what's happening in Manipur with the ground situation in West Bengal. The 2 situations are different.
Now can I come and finish my point, please, Rahul?
Okay, go on, Riju.
Right now, from the day one,
Rahul, just wait, let me finish. Is my name Riju Datta or is his name Rahul? Thank you. So I'll make 2 more points. Your India Today library is very strong. For election campaign, the Minister of Women and Child Welfare, Smriti Irani, was dancing with the locals in Manipur. Did she visit Manipur even once? And why we are asking for Article 356, let me explain to Ajay Alok and the BJP and your viewers, is because the Honorable Home Minister of the country was in Manipur on 29th of May. And the Chief Minister of Manipur, who's a BJP Chief Minister, did not make him aware of the situation. Only when the video came out and the Prime Minister spoke for 36 seconds, the entire country and the entire world came to know what is happening in Manipur. So the Home Minister has failed. The Women and Child Development Minister has failed to restore peace. So what is the last hope? The last hope is Article 356 and the Prime Minister to speak on the subject.
Okay. Now, Manikam Tagore, will there be a discussion tomorrow, or will we have the same circular logic play out again? Where I could be, I could just cut, copy, paste this debate onto tomorrow's show and just allow for the same conversation to happen again.
It is the Prime Minister's silence and inaction in Manipur is the problem. We want Prime Minister Modi to come to Parliament and make a statement in Manipur. This needs to be dealt in a healing way. It is not the blame game what we are planning it. We are not going to blame him. We want to send a solidarity message to the people of Manipur that Indian Parliament stands with them. Opposition, our leader Rahul Gandhi ji went on June 30th and 30th and 29th and 30th. This month, our delegation of 21 parties of India partners has went and came back. They have the facts in hand. They can share it to Prime Minister. But Prime Minister is not ready to be, he is not available in Parliament. He is locked in his chambers and watching the television. Let us ask Honorable Prime Minister to come to the Parliament tomorrow. Tomorrow 11 o'clock also he can come. Any of the houses, let him make a statement. House will be in order and all other businesses can also run. Let the Prime Minister leave his arrogance. Leave that arrogance that I will not come to the Parliament because opposition parties.
Does the BJP, Ajay Alok, run the risk of, what the opposition is trying to do is push the narrative that the Prime Minister is running scared of speaking on Manipur, which clearly from the BJP's perspective isn't the case. Shouldn't the Prime Minister just come out and speak? All of the ammunition which you have against the inaction of the opposition, you throw it at the opposition and leave it to the people of India to decide who they think has the more compelling case, who's done more, who hasn't.
Rahul, we can organize...
No, Riju Datta, let Ajay Alok speak.
The wisdom of the opposition. I'm really surprised at the wisdom of the opposition when they say that Prime Minister should come and make a statement. When they have already brought out a no confidence motion, Prime Minister is bound to speak. What we are saying, that let's start the discussion first in the Rajya Sabha. At least let people of this country know that INDIA went for a 2 days trip to Manipur, what constructive suggestions they have got for the government, what information they have got it from for the government. Because what we have seen in Rahul Gandhi on 29th and 30th June, when he went to Manipur, he just went cookies and he came back. He never bothered for Maitis. He never had any suggestion. He just said a political statement, Manipur is burning and Prime Minister is running away. All these kind of political rhetorics. And Rahul, let me tell you, right from the
day he only meet the cookie community?
Political killings cannot be compared
when Rahul Gandhi went there?
No, he met both.
Yeah.
No, he met both, yes. But that's not factually correct. No, one second. Kaushik was there, Kaushik?
No, he didn't meet. He didn't meet.
Because he landed in Imphal and then from there he went to the Kuki side.
No, but did he meet Meitei leaders?
Meitei people also he met.
He met them?
Yeah.
So BJP is lying on national television. He knows more about Northeast reporters now.
BJP is not lying. He didn't meet. He didn't meet. Because the itinerary was given to the state administration. He didn't. He went to the Maitis camp. That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. Now let me tell you one more thing.
Don't
tell me
on a national channel.
I'm not saying a lie. The administration has been given the itinerary where he was going. Go and check the itinerary with the administration. If you don't know the truth, many of the spokesperson of the
No, that's not correct. Ajay Alok. No, once again, Vijay. Ajay Alok, what you're saying is not correct. I just checked this because I wasn't sure. He went to Maitai areas and met those who'd been impacted in Maitai areas as well. So what you're saying is factually incorrect. I'm quite shocked that you'd say something like this because this is factually not true. I mean, all the reportage that's happened, he's gone to meet people from both communities.
See, when he landed...
Imphal.
No, Rahul, what I'm trying to say, please listen to me fully. If he lands in Imphal, it's a Mighty area, number one.
Not that way. He went to meet those who've been impacted in the violence.
But then went to the camps of Mighties.
Liar.
He went to Churachandrapur, but he didn't go to the camps in Imphal area.
The next day he did.
Then Congress people said on television that he was not allowed by the administration.
He went on the second day to meet people who'd been impacted amongst the Maithi community in the violence as well. First day he went to Churachandpur, and the second day he went to areas in the Maithi community that had been impacted by the violence.
This fellow is lying on national TV. This is what BJP
Only the Congress people said that he was stopped by the administration, by the itinerary what he has given. That's what I'm saying.
Day one,
and second thing, political killing cannot be compared to the ethnic violence.
They don't accept the lie also. When it exposed, the lie is exposed by you, Rahul. After that also he is not ready to accept.
I have the name of the camp as well. He went to a camp. No, Ajay Alok, he went to the Moirang camp. In the Maitai-dominated Bishnupur district, Rahul Gandhi on day 2 went to the Moirang camp. On day 1 he did not, on day 2 he did.
Their spokespersons are liars.
He should apologize now, Ajay Alok, you should apologize.
You are a liar, I'm not a liar. Your congressman said that he was stopped by the administration.
So he was there for 2 days.
Said that he was stopped by the administration.
No, but you can't come so many days later and not be fact checked. This is not right, Ajay Alok.
First day he kept on making a fuss that I have been stopped by the administration. There was a lot of violence and chaos right on the road, which we have seen on the TV. He was there just to create confusion, not for the healing touch.
You are lied in a national
Not for the healing touch.
Okay, I think
you were not there for the healing touch. You were there to create confusion.
Okay, I can't get into this back and forth in this fashion. The fact is, on day 2, there was a visit to Bishnupur, which is a Maitai-dominated area. He went to the Moirang camp, so that is factually incorrect, just as far as facts are concerned. I'm going to slip into a break. We'll track what happens in Parliament tomorrow. I hope and pray that there is a discussion. From what I have understood from everyone who's in Manipur, they want to hear Parliament speak. They want to hear that Parliament cares about what's happening. This back and forth between the BJP, the Trinamool, the Congress, that's not what they want. They want to hear Indian Parliament come together, hold out a healing balm, which is the last thing that we're seeing at this moment. You're on board the Newstrack as film production in Hollywood grinds to a halt against the increasing use of AI. Netflix has thumbed its nose at the strike and advertised a lucrative job opening for an AI product manager. The OTT major has offered a whopping annual salary of $900,000 or 7.5 crore rupees for this job, which scriptwriters and actors say threatens their livelihood.
The picket line outside the Netflix office in Los Angeles has been in place for more than a month, with Hollywood scriptwriters on one of their longest strikes till date. One of their demands, a safeguard against artificial intelligence, replacing them in scripting blockbusters and superhit series for both the big and small screens. Netflix, meanwhile, has gone ahead and done what the strikers feared. Advertised a lucrative job opening for an AI product manager, offering a whopping annual salary of up to $900,000. Netflix has officially described the role as a position within the company's machine learning department. The job, which can be performed remotely from anywhere on the US West Coast, boasts a salary range of $300,000 to $900,000. The primary responsibilities of this role include enhancing Netflix's machine learning platform and utilizing AI to create content. Another high-paying AI position listed by Netflix is for a technical director specializing in generative AI at its gaming studio with an annual salary ranging between $450,000 and $650,000. This comes at a time when actors and writers who are currently on strike are demanding better wages and regulations on studios' use of emerging technology. Critics argue that such high salaries for AI-related roles could potentially jeopardize their jobs and creative freedom. Not only can AI complete the unfinished scripts and write plots for new ones, new AI algorithms can even dictate how many episodes need to be in a season before the show reaches a plateau of new subscribers, and how many seasons a series needs to be on. This can reduce the amount of episodes per season to between 6 and 10, number of seasons to 3 or 4, delivering a blow to scriptwriters.
As SAG and WGA strike for a fair and equitable contract for the very creatives that have driven its success, but also this is an inflection point for labor as a whole.
We're fighting against corporate greed, and it manifests itself in a variety of ways, but it's all the same theme, which is, when big corporations tell you can't afford to get paid in a way that keeps up with inflation, when they fire Starbucks workers for not, for wanting to have a union, when they, refuse to take basic respect of people's face, image, and voice with AI, all of these issues are tied into the same thing, which is corporate greed and lack of respect for workers, and I think it's time for that to end.
While AI-powered algorithms and content could turn the tide for Netflix, whose shares are poised for their biggest drop this year after projecting third-quarter revenue that fell short of Wall Street estimates, actors and scriptwriters are a furious lot. Delaying the release of films and OTT series, slowly they are also joined by unions from other industries which share the same fear of being replaced by artificial intelligence. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.